Okay, good afternoon and welcome to our our March episode of the Bitesize Webinar series with the Sustainable Facilities Management Index. Today we are starting a new program actually for the road ahead, and this is a great topic which is going to help set the scene for our program of bite-sized webinars, which becomes more of a themed set of webinars. And this is about starting a sustainability journey with Arcus FM. So for those who are unaware, and this is the first time you've joined an SFMI bite-sized webinar, the SFMI is a product of Aclara Advisory, which is a sustainability consultancy practice. And the purpose of the SFMI is to embed sustainability into the management and operation of the FM sector. We do this because the FM sector has a huge potential to positively impact the environment and society in many different ways, because of its huge reach within other organisations, buildings and facilities, and also the vast number of people that it employs across the country and also in different countries. It gives the ability to improve energy efficiency, change behaviours of people and the staff that it interacts with, manage refurbishment projects in a circular economy fashion, purchase the energy efficient equipment, and many other things which can make up a sustainable business. And we feel that the FM industry has the ability to help provide a real guidance voice and a real advisory voice for its customers. And there's a lot of value that FM can get out of taking a sustainable FM pathway. So as part of the SFMI's mission, we like to help to upskill and guide the sector. And one of the methods that we use to do this is through our bite-sized webinars. So we are joined today by Kathryn Ebrey, who is the Environment and Sustainability Lead Business Partner at Arcus Facilities Management. We're very excited that Kathryn will be joining us because Arcus joined the SFMI 2 years ago, or they've been actually part of us for 2.5 years, I would say, and they've been they started their sustainability journey only probably 3 or 4 years ago. And so it's really good to hear from companies who are really taking those first steps and have jumped over the first hurdles and understand the challenges, especially those new challenges that they have been overcoming. And we'll hear about their top tips on how to make those steps if you're a new company coming through as well. So as I mentioned, please do send in any questions as we go along. Kathryn will speak for about 20 minutes or so, and then we'll have 5 minutes at the end for a Q&A. So Kathryn, over to you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Right, let me just share mine. Fingers crossed it works. Right, can you see that? No?
Yeah, that's coming
yeah,
up.
That worked. Fabulous.
Yeah,
perfect. Okay. Right, wonderful. Thanks for that intro, Chris, and yeah, thanks everyone for joining today. So Chris did a very good intro there of myself, but just as a reminder, I'm the Environment and Sustainability Lead Business Partner at Arcus. I've actually been with Arcus since 2013, but only moved into the business's first environment and sustainability role in 2018. So yeah, as Chris said, this is a relatively new thing for Arcus, but one of the things that I'll be discussing today is the top tips of getting started on that journey, and some of the first kind of things I feel that people and companies should do to really kind of make the most of those initial few steps on that journey. So yeah, as you can see, the topic of today, starting a sustainability journey in FM. So the presentation is very much aimed at those who either are just taking their first steps or don't really know what first steps to take, or alternatively are also considering sort of becoming a partner of the SFMI, which yeah, I'll also talk around the value that's brought to Arcus as well. That flipped over? Brilliant, lovely, just checking. Okay, so just to kind of start off and set the scene, I've just put in some key reminders here of why starting a sustainability journey in FM is so important. And just a reminder that everyone has to start somewhere. And one of my favorite quotes in this space is, it doesn't have to get done. Sorry, start that again. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to get done. And I think that's one of the key things. Sometimes as professionals, we try and do everything perfectly, but actually what's needed in sustainability is just everyone to do something and actually start on this journey. And one of the key things that I'm sure as sustainability professionals we're all aware of, but something that I wanted to kind of remind people of, is that ultimately we don't have time to wait until things are perfect. And a key reminder of that was released just last month was this IPCC report on the impacts, adaptation and vulnerability towards climate change. And one of the really interesting things about this report is how it really hones in on the vulnerability of humankind. And ultimately the report says that human actions are causing dangerous disruption and the window to secure a livable future is closing. So yeah, that's just a stark reminder really of how we just need to get moving really and start doing something to kind of save humankind and the wider environment. And I just wanted to sort of draw your attention here to the little picture on the right hand side of the slide, because one of the great things that I think about sustainability is that regardless of whether you are just starting on your journey or whether you've been on the journey for some time, there's always more to learn. And actually it's that willingness to learn and grow that is often what leads to success. Certainly in my role, I learn something new every day. And yeah, the SFMI in particular has been a great partner in helping both myself and Arcus learn and grow as a business around our approach to sustainability. Okay, so this slide just kind of hones in on how on our first and second year of being an SFMI partner, we achieved the Silver Award. And I imagine one of the key apprehensions sort of about joining the SFMI, why some sort of smaller companies or companies who are earlier on in their journey, yeah, maybe a bit nervous about being compared to more seasoned companies. So, you know, the likes of those who are achieving gold or platinum. And I definitely understand that because we had that apprehension at Arcus, but after sort of careful consideration, we determined ultimately that the value gained from participating in this scheme far outweighed the potential cons. So as a matter of fact, we were extremely proud to achieve silver, even though in relation to performance and comparisons against other companies, it kind of put us pretty much in the middle. So, you know, we weren't a top performer. But what it did show us is that we are definitely on the right trajectory and that we have that business commitment to drive improvement. And just to reiterate, going back to my previous slide, again, it just shows that everyone has to start somewhere. And you never know, you might actually be surprised and it might actually show you that you've done more than you think. Quite often companies are doing a lot of good stuff, but ultimately all that needs doing is starting to bring that together coherently under that main umbrella of sustainability. Okay, so now just going into taking that first step on that journey. And for us, that ultimate first step and a piece of advice that I would give is making sure that you prioritize, understand what material impacts are kind of important to you as a business, and do this via a materiality assessment. And why this is so important is because sustainability is so vast, and it can be really overwhelming if you just try and do everything all at once. So yeah, my suggestion would be to take a kind of framework that's already out there and tried and tested. The framework that we used was the Sustainable Development Goals that you can see here on the screen, and ultimately got all our key stakeholders from around the business to understand what is material to Arcus out of these 17 goals. An alternative could actually be using the SFMI assessment framework of the 23 criteria, because that also breaks down sustainability into kind of relatable and individual chunks. And when we understood what was material to us as a business, what we're trying to do now is actually build on this to understand what's material to our customers, which will then in turn help us understand how we can further support our customers through the services that we deliver. So what I just wanted to talk about now is ultimately what role the SFMI can play in your journey. Because for Arcus, who Chris mentioned, we've only been part of the scheme for a couple of years now, but actually we've seen a huge amount of value from participating in it. So there's kind of 5 things here that I wanted to really pull out and discuss. So the first one being that the SFMI provides a common goal and sustainability purpose. So at Arcus, we use the SFMI as like a common theme, a common sustainability theme that we talk about with all internal comms and internal stakeholders. And ultimately what it's done is provided a kind of collective goal and a common purpose to bring everyone together to improve our SFMI score year on year. Secondly, we feel that it provides a really clear and relatable definition and framework. I previously mentioned how sustainability can be overwhelming, and those who don't do it as a profession can sometimes find it difficult to really understand what it means and how it relates to their day-to-day job. So we have ultimately adopted the SFMI purpose and the SFMI 23 criteria to really help explain this to all colleagues throughout the business, and then we can help select the criteria that are really applicable to their particular job role. Thirdly, the provision of targeted improvement plans has really helped us and taught me a lot, as well as the rest of the business. And quite often these externally provided plans and recommendations can sometimes offer more gravitas from a kind of internal stakeholder point of view. So for us, it's really helped drive things forward. Benchmarking. So this is something else that's given us a lot of value within Arcus. So we've been able to see how we compare to other companies in the FM industry. Yes, it's shown us we're not perfect. We've got a long way to go till we reach that platinum. But it's also shown us that the work we've done to date has put us in a really strong place, and ultimately just provides us that additional motivation to continue on this journey. And finally, throughout the kind of annual assessments and the leadership webinars and workshops that the SFMI hold, it provides external challenges which sort of provoke new ways of thinking and new ways of working. And ultimately this has allowed us to sort of develop again our approach to sustainability and to collaborate within the industry. Okay, so I've already kind of focused on what I think the real first step is, which was understanding those material impacts. But I just wanted to talk a bit more now about the 3 other kind of vital elements to progression that I feel are really necessary to to have a successful sustainability strategy and agenda. So first of all, it's having that senior leader buy-in and also demonstration of active leadership. And I put active leadership in there because you don't just want lip service, you want that senior leader demonstration and the senior leaders actively being involved in the sustainability agenda and showing that commitment from the very top. Secondly, it's really important to reduce silo working in the business. So it's quite common that, particularly when you're starting out on the journey, sustainability can be seen as the responsibility of the sustainability team. Whereas to really achieve a positive sustainability culture and to really embed sustainability in the business, every department needs to take ownership for it. So actually the SFMI audits have been really helpful in this respect because it gets people from operations, HR, fleet, supply chain, projects, all involved and all taking ownership of sustainability in their departments. And finally, transparency and communication. So this is something that we have really worked on as a business. So from my perspective, transparency just builds trust and effective ongoing communication internally and externally just brings people with you on that journey and in turn reduces that silo working. So I can't say it's all been plain sailing, but we have had some challenges on the way. So I just wanted to talk now about some of the top challenges that we've experienced and a little bit about what we're doing to overcome that. So the first one is around our sustainability culture and awareness. And like I've already said, we have done a lot of work in this space, but there's still more to do. We have a strong safety culture at Arcus, which is great. We look after our people, but now what we've put as part of our objectives is to ultimately achieve an equal billing with our sustainability culture as well. And we have an aspiration to be a leader in this space, and to be a leader, sustainability needs to be fully embedded into our culture. So this is a real priority for us. Global issues, and I'm sure Arcus aren't in isolation when I talk about this. So one of the things that springs to mind is the semiconductor shortage that has really affected the availability of electric vehicles. As a mobile FM provider, we rely quite heavily on vehicles to deliver our service. And so this global shortage has really impacted our ability to transition or slowed our ability to transition from diesel to electric. But what it has showed us is that we really need to have robust risk management processes in place, and we ultimately are able to kind of be flexible and adaptable with our plans on how we're going to deliver our sustainability goals. So from these issues, we've also kind of learnt how to overcome them and how to improve our processes. Thirdly, budget constraints. So it's no secret that some sustainability requirements do require significant investment. But ultimately, what we've tried to do is really relook at this approach and look at the cost benefit analysis, consider the triple bottom line rather than just the basic pounds. And we've also got a CEO at Arcus who really champions this and really helps push us through, helps push these investments that are required through, which otherwise may have been blocked previously. Okay, so moving on from challenges, wanted to talk now about what's gone really well for us. And luckily, I think there's probably been a lot more that we could put on this slide, but these are the 4 things that I wanted to really pick out and talk about. So first of all, we launched our first ever sustainability policy. It might seem like quite a simple achievement, but actually for us it was quite significant. what it does is it provides a framework of commitments that we've ultimately signed up to as a business. We got all key stakeholders involved in that process. And now this is kind of the gold standard of what we are working to and what we want to achieve across all departments. Secondly, we've got a strong internal communication plan in place. So myself and my team have worked very closely with our internal Marcoms team, and this has then allowed us to keep sustainability fresh on the agenda and on the radar of most people around the business. And that has, again, like I said earlier, been really important for bringing people along on that journey with us. Thirdly, Sustainability Committee. So again, this is a relatively new committee that we introduced last year, but similar to what I said about the policy, it's allowed us to get all internal and key stakeholders involved talking about sustainability. It really helps us drive that ownership piece and helps reduce that silo working. It's been a real positive introduction, which has allowed us to really move forward on this sustainability journey. And finally, because of the kind of importance of what I said about before around disclosure and building trust, we've really put a strong focus over the past 12 months on public disclosure. And one of the things that we've used, one of the tools we've used to deliver this is the Carbon Disclosure Project. Amongst others, we've also started releasing sort of an annual sustainability impact report and used other sort of public disclosure forums. But for us, the CGP has really been instrumental in not only improving our public disclosure, but also helping us learn how we improve our internal processes around climate mitigation, adaptation and risk management. Okay, and just on the final slide, I just kind of wanted to bring everyone back to one of the first slides and the quote. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to get done. So if I was to ask everyone to take away one thing from today, it would probably be that statement. And yeah, just ask everyone to start doing one thing which can help your business move forward on their sustainability journey. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Kathryn. That was really great, actually, really nicely structured, which from conducting the assessments on Arcus, we see that structure that comes through in the foundations that you've built, I think, from the previous years to the last year's assessment. So I think that's one thing which I definitely admire from the work that you've done within Arcus, is how you've built up that really solid foundation framework, and then the real structured approach that the company takes in terms of slowly building bit by bit on top of that. So and that definitely comes through from your presentation. So thank you very much. We do have some questions come through. So I think I'm going to start. We've got a couple of minutes really for questions. So let's start with in terms of, if we can kind of go back to that original, I guess, outset of what the key drivers were for the company in order to really start its sustainability journey. Could you give some insight into why the company started putting investment in and started building up its approach?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so well, first of all, like I've said, we are really lucky in Arcus to have a CEO that really champions this and really believes in it. So that was one of the key drivers, that first of all, it is the right thing to do as a business. But in parallel with that, I think it was starting to be recognised how we need to move forward on this journey to maintain our competitive advantage. We were starting to see more come through in relation to requests from existing clients, new clients for business development. We've got a strong kind of growth strategy at Arcus. So the fact that this is part of tenders and it's being sort of asked what we're doing in this space, like I said, to kind of win new business and remain competitive, we just really wanted to start pushing forward with this. So I think they're the kind of two key drivers, really.
And then what did you find? You mentioned as well at the beginning about every company's doing something which they may not be aware of. When you started on that journey, was there anything really interesting that you found out within your organization once you started investigating down through the different channels? What exciting projects the company was just doing, embedding as a, I guess, inherent in an inherent manner?
So there's probably quite a few examples, really, but we're doing a lot as a business on the social value side, and working with sort of three key groups of society to really kind of bring value to wider society, and it was only really from extending those discussions with different departments, it made me realize how much we were doing in this space, and actually that it all forms part of that wider sustainability agenda. Similarly, we have a team called the Smart Hub in Arcus, who have a real focus on driving energy reductions for our clients. And some of the work that they do in relation to energy and carbon and water reduction, it's really sort of innovative and impressive. And again, it wasn't previously thought of as necessarily part of the sustainability agenda. It was just what they did as their day-to-day role. But once you start talking to these different departments and actually understanding and then drawing that link between what they do and sustainability, it's amazing what's already going on.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you can start to deliver to wider customers as well, can't you? Because you suddenly know these things that are happening within your organisation, and you can get more formalised.
Definitely, yeah.
So I guess as a final question, what's next for the Arcus sustainability journey?
Oh, what's next?
What's the big plan for 2022?
So the big plans for 2022. We've got a real focus on extending our carbon monitoring and reporting, and developing our net zero plans. That is a real big focus, as well as sort of extending our social value agenda and putting a clear roadmap in place for that as well. But also just continuing to build those relationships internally, and to continue driving that sort of responsibility and that ownership to just continue great work in all different departments. I think that's going to be one of our biggest focus areas, because as a sustainability team, it's getting busier and busier the more that people are asking for this. So you really want to start building those relationships even more, so you can ultimately lean on other departments to kind of deliver these improvements.
Okay, that's all we've got time for, unfortunately. But like I said, that was a fantastic walkthrough. And thanks for sharing the challenges that the company comes across as well, because I know it's difficult for a business to talk about its challenges, because sometimes you don't want to air the dirty laundry, do you? But thank you very much for that, Kathryn.
Welcome.
So what's next? So as I mentioned at the beginning, we are the Bitesize webinars will be taking on a bit of a journey approach. So we're starting off at the strategic management level, and then working our way through the operational implementation and then into the supply chain management as we come round to the tail end of the year. So next year we will be kicking that off. Actually, the SFMI will be taking the next webinar, and it'll be about engaging with stakeholders and building your sustainability framework. And we'll be pulling in examples from across the assessments that we have been taking from a wide range of companies in order to set that framework, help set those frameworks, and really follow on from what Kathryn's been saying here. What else to look out for? So we have some upcoming events. I'm going to ask my colleague just to pop in the chat function a water questionnaire, actually, because coming up next week, we actually have, for SFMI members, we have an SFMI Leaders Forum, where we'll be discussing water management in FM and how we can grow how the importance of it can grow. That questionnaire will also be circulated with the communication about this webinar as well. So please do look out for that, because your input will also help to guide the way that we approach water management, I think, within the FM industry. So getting an understanding of perceptions is very valuable for us. Just launched as well on the 14th of March, we published a new report about sustainable procurement in FM. So please do check out our website, the report side page of our website. It's also been highlighted in a couple of FM trade magazines. So the FMJ and IFM have published the links to the reports as well. So keep an eye out for that. And then also we'll be at the facilities show between the 17th and 19th of May as well. So if you're around and fancying going along to that, then please do pop your head around and say hello to us. And also, as you mentioned before, check out the Scope 3 emissions in FM report as well. We're currently working on the second part of that. So we'll be with you in the coming months on that front. So thank you very much, everyone, for your time. Thank you very much to Kathryn and for Arcus for speaking with us today. And have a good month, and we'll see you at the next webinar. Goodbye.